my. Way more people here than I expected. Try to change it up each time. Try to go somewhere new each time. What's up, guys? Mike's here. Dan's here. Yeah, I just got through rebuilding 192. Awesome. Yeah, I redid one too. What's up? Jeffrey. Woodpecker's here. Yeah, you just have to stick your thumb over the end of the hose climber. Kent's here, or no, yeah, climber Clint, knee, crown pounder, damn. Alright. So what's everybody, how's the week started? We do that in California. Oh, that is so crazy to me. That is so weird to me. But you can have sprinklers though, right? Like, if you're rich enough, you can have sprinklers, I think. Doing all right, Jared. BR, what's up? Just ordered the new Buckingham light titanium gaps. Let's see how they... Awesome. Yeah, the switch over to aluminum spikes that I use, it was awesome. It's so much like weight that's just not there. It's so much more comfortable instead of a bunch of extra weight down on your ankles and feet. Out on the bike. Right on. Brown trout. The blue Barbie. Oh man. Damn, ground pounder, that sounds awesome. So far so good. Just finished. Right on, Bill. Off today, rained out. Whenever you just get hassled. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could only imagine. Yeah, I've heard and I've seen stuff where like neighbors fight over that stuff. So, yeah, I figured this would be a good video to discuss, because I imagine most of you probably watched the last one. So like, what went wrong and why did it go wrong? And like, because I mean, in theory, that should have traveled down that speed line fine. But it locked up over the top of the wire after he let it become basically, stationary. The inertia, the movement and stuff was needed to start that travel down that line. And as he let that settle, the friction from that carabiner on a... Here's another thing that where I went wrong was I used a bull rope, which is incredibly, like, unnecessarily thick and soft. Like, it's real malleable. So like the amount of friction that was on that as opposed to my normal pull line that I should have used, it's a much stiffer line, so it definitely would have traveled that line a lot better. So, as many times as I've used that technique, to learn so many things on that one time is pretty crazy. I realize, unless it's like in a pretty, sharp angle, to definitely stick to a really stiff rope, especially when you're trying to keep more of a horizontal angle going. And that's without it being controlled. So making a controlled speed line, what we did is we actually took some of the natural weight that would be on that speed line, helping pull it down the line, and we transferred it and put it over into the control line. So that friction point that goes down the line, the speed line strap and the clip, actually wasn't holding its normal amount of weight that it would be holding. That limb would have shot down that line. But because of half of it or more being held to the back by that controlled line, it made that piece much lighter on there. Plus it was like pullback friction because of it being back here and it wanted to travel this way. So it just settled, and like it was the perfect storm to make it completely stationary. So the only way, like in the video, that I thought maybe I could have changed that would have been to add a lot more weight. So, you know, I could have taken a bigger chunk and maybe got that to travel, but with the additional weight would have helped pull it down the line. But it would, I think it would have had to been a pretty large amount of weight. I probably would have had to do that whole next section with it and just did it in one. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I could have put the 2 points close together, the connection points. That would have helped too, because it wouldn't put it in so much of a basket configuration. It would have kept the weight on both points more even instead of like half here, half here. If you understand, you know, kind of what I'm saying. Let me get back on. No, Greg's here. Sweet. Rob, what's up? Trimmed a big silver maple, took a couple liters. They were hanging over a jack and service lines next door. Good to see. Oh, good to see you too. Working great. Cool. That is awesome. Too many wraps? No, I think he wasn't thinking, okay, that initial where the limb was cut, because of the actual control line being back here, it actually was pulling it into the line, like even more. So I think when it started to do that, he didn't have that in his head. Like, he didn't think about that happening beforehand, and I kind of took for granted he understood what was going on there. So it like put him in a freeze mode, and then after it stopped moving, it's like, you know, what do? It's stuck now. And the only way that I could have counteracted that was to put a pulley there, because then we would have had no friction and would have actually had a mechanical advantage helping it travel down that line. So I think it would have worked. We could have let it settle and then take off with a pulley. So just reference for anybody else. Murphy's Law happened. Yep. My Speedline is hard and stiff. The load will just zip down it. Westport. Yep. Yeah, Jared, you're 100%. That's the ideal with them. You know, you don't want a real flexy, flimsy line, because, you know, that smush is going to happen. You know, I always talk about with the rigging, you get that smush effect where it travels over a sharp point, like if it was just my finger and it goes over, it's going to smash the rope maybe this thick as it goes up over, but the point right here at top, it smashes flat because of the pull, the forces, and it going over that. So that's always your weak point right there. It flattens the rope out completely. So that's why you want more of a rounded, you know, gradual turn. So it all makes sense. It's just I took for granted that, you know, I could use that rope for it and it would work. So that's where the problem was, in my opinion. So is that a steel chainsaw tattoo on your forearm? Yeah, it is. It is a steel Contra. It's got to be finished up the rest of the way, but it's that old, like, red topped. They're red and white, and like when I got into the history of steels and stuff like that, I got a really good book on it. It was what they considered to be the holy grail when they really feel like they knocked it out of the park. So that's a saw that I would really like to own one day, and that I always kind of admired. So it's yeah, it's the holy grail, you know, as far as steel chainsaws, the fancy one. And that's what I'll throw a lot of people off when they see it. They're like, what kind of saw is that? Is that a Husky? Is it because it's red? So the original steel saws, I believe, were red and white. Static rope for Speedline. Yep. Jeff, Jeff would know. Jesus, they do it. They use it every day. No big difference in, you know, just the trees in general in the two areas. You get really, really tall, um, straight, and then here, really wide. I mean, we get some tall, but you know, for the most part, not that tall. Looking at that 100 foot, 80, 100 foot mark, and then really wide. So we don't get that extra gravity get go, you know, that you would have a really tall tree. So you got to work with it. I could have rigged another heavier piece, and it may have knocked it free. Yeah, but I would have had to get the Speedline back to me anyway to clip to it and rig another piece off of it. But you know, it should have traveled better. It just okay. Where that rigging point was at, it was way out on the end of the limb, you know, and we were hooked up here. So because there was like no weight past it, the weight past the Speedline strap would be pull weight. That would be the weight that's wanting to take it down because we're holding it in that basket configuration. So if I'd moved the Speedline strap back and put way more weight out in front, it actually would have pulled it down the line better. Because of it being basketed, it actually had more weight behind it, which isn't pull weight. It can become pull weight after it travels and it's you know all into the system. So when you notice we drop the limb into it and then just let it ride the line after that. But yeah, definitely a lesson learned. But it's been my experience when you try that often, it just makes it work. Sometimes it will. You can get stuck in that spot sometimes, definitely. So my dog is trying me, buddy. He just won't shut his mouth in there, and I'm gonna have to go in there and beat him or something. I don't know what his deal is. Driving the freaking nuts though. Ah. What's the name of the steel book? I would love to order. Oh, I tell you what. Actually, let's swing back there real quick. Anyway, and I'll tell you. Oh, Hank, you gotta work with me though. We're gonna walk through the carport here. Oh, this stand for this thing is so heavy. It has this big old weight on the bottom of it. It's like this metal flexi pole. Here, I'll put you guys out here. I'm just gonna sit. It's gonna be dark in there. I didn't set up any lights. Let me grab that. Oh. Okay. This is it. It's actually a really, really good read. It's like totally fascinating to me. Like when, you know, as we get into war with Germany, we basically are like, you know, all them patents that you had, we don't care. So then comes the other major companies. They now have all the information to advance themselves because we're at the time at war with the country that, you know, I don't have like all the details to it. I need to read more into it and finish, you know, reading up on the book. But it's really cool. I know that the war had a big thing to do with them losing a lot of their patents and then other companies picking them up and using them. So pretty cool. A lot of silly, you know, to some people would be useless information that I really find kind of cool. So I would suggest it if yeah, it's Jared. It's just called Steel America. It's a book from Steel, or it talks about them the beginning of Steel to now. So apparently, it all began. It's got just the back. Like after I read the back, I was like locked. It says like it all began with Adrius Steele, who saw the need to make hard work easier, and they spelled saw SAW. So like the humor in that, as a tree guy, I loved it. So I was like, yeah, yeah, I dig it. So pretty cool. I would definitely recommend giving it a read. It's pretty good one. Oh, okay. Yeah, he ain't gonna miss me when I get inside. I'm gonna kick him in the face. My wife has this uncanny ability to tune him out, and I want it so bad. I wish I had it, but I can't. Like it becomes the only thing I can like hear. So like you need to intensify. I know that's like oh the only ones I've seen are like shock collars, and I don't. I'm gonna have to read up on it to find out. Like I think they make ones that are not shock collars, but the problem is he has an incredibly large amount of hair. So it's like I feel like it ain't even gonna do anything to him. Like I swat him on his ass to tell him to stop doing something, and like he acts like nothing. Like he's like what? Like he didn't know that I just smacked him and like basically moved him, and he's like I don't know. I think they're meant to like guard sheep and stuff. These are Great Pyrenees, and they fight coyotes and stuff all the time. So the heavy hair helps them keep getting ripped apart, I guess. It's super hard to get your hands on steel products around me. For 261. That's awesome. I have a I have that 026 back there. It's right there. That one. And it's been redone, and I put like a steel horn sticker on it, and then cleared it and all kinds of stuff. And got it all super fancy, and then realized I have carb issues. Or like, some boots messed. I don't I gotta work on it. I like literally I understand why guys go buy everything new, because there becomes a point where you can't like haven't had a chance to really work on them and keep them up. So like I'm down to just enough to get stuff done, and yeah, my OCD kicks in, and like I feel like I should take multiple days and work on nothing but chainsaws. I have one as well. Love it. Great saw, but needed a new one. Found it eventually. Oh, you needed a new one. Yeah, that was probably a pretty hard find. Get them to order it, maybe. That's the thing. Like, it sucks if if you don't have that like small town dealer. Those are the best. The small steel shops. That's why like if you can go spend your money in them small shops, that's like do it, because eventually they're gonna go, and you're gonna have to go stomp through, you know, the Rural King to go get your steel products, which sucks, and I hate doing it. But you gotta walk through the food area and the clothing area and the garden area before you can go get your chainsaw. I don't like that. That's just me, but the little small shops I really dig. They make longer. Okay, they do. Cool. Right on, man. All right. Well, I need to look into it definitely. Do you have any recommendations on videos for solo rigging with a triple or just a basic solo? Rigging by yourself or rigging with only one guy? I wish I'd known that I got too. Damn. Oh, look, the dog barks. Yeah, I do, and he barks way, way, way too much. He's just crazy, and he doesn't do like a little bark. He's like break the windows. Yeah, that was him barking from inside with all the doors shut that you were hearing. He finally barked his voice out or something. Teach them not to bark. They can just watch the guy. No, no, like it's okay to bark. Like he should know not to bark in my house, like all crazy. He's not barking at anything. He's just barking because no one's inside with him. Like there's a difference. Like I've wanted a dog, a guard dog. I don't want to spoil a little brat that's barking because he wants you to come inside and give him some treats. So he's a pretty good dog, but he's also a jerk. Hmm. Really? Those chips everywhere and gets in the filter. Hmm. Maybe Jared look for a flapper. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Some Husqvarnas have them. You could just put one on, like make your own, probably. But some chainsaws have that flapper where it comes out the bottom, and it'll help shoot the sawdust away. Um, I think I've mainly seen it on Husqvarna, but I think it's an accessory piece, and you could attach it, and it'll help shoot it away from the saw more, so that it can't get to the filter. You may try that. Got a 046 and 066 Magnums from the 90s. Both run like a top. Yeah. Yes, very, very, very good. Well, 04. I would, if if I'm being honest, I like the 044. Um, it was perfect. Just all around saw, just perfect. So that's why I think I like the 362 so much. It's like the closest thing that I've stumbled across that's there. But I personally like the flat top design too, the skinny flat top design. So, when they go rounding everything off and trying to make it all futuristic look like, okay, cool. I'm not that into it though, but like, there's a way to make them rounded off and all that stuff, and still, I don't know. I think some of the stuff looks funky, but I like the old style. That's awesome. Diamond Outdoor. Never heard of it. That's cool though. We have a few of them, but I am guilty of, I don't have one in my town, so a lot of times I go to like Rural King. We had a small spot here, a smaller spot, but it was like it's called Family Center. But I, I don't know. They would hire guys that like all the time that didn't know anything. They were I just wouldn't know what they're doing, and they would put them back in the chainsaw area and give me the wrong chains all the time, and I have to argue to get the right one. And then they were just like kind of a bit rude and stuff. And customer service wasn't the greatest, but I still dealt with it until, then it became so much easier to slide into Rural King. But anytime I get into towns away from here and I see the smaller places, I try to swing in. You know, if those things, those small places weren't here, it would be a bummer. Like those places make it to where you can have like that relationship with your, someone, something like if you're doing this to feed your family and stuff, like to have a relationship with a distributor would be awesome because like you can get the hookup. A lot of times, if something was to happen, you could get, I think a lot of guys have like charge accounts and stuff. Like I've always been offered charge accounts at a lot of them that I've went to, and just the wantingness to like help you out and get you, what you want. I'm sure when you go out and you say I want that 261, you don't have that guy saying, "Well, yeah, yeah, I understand." But this, look, let me show you. This 271 is a farm boss. Like you could be the boss of the farm, and it's a bigger number, so you get more, and and it's cheaper. And not know anything, he just knows how to sell stuff. So try to go to the little places. Usually, them guys know what they're talking about too. They're not just blowing smoke up your tailpipe. My small lawn guy closed down because of the stress of the business, shortage of products, and the lack of good help. Yeah, now I must go to the shop. I really. Yep. Yeah, hey, we all have to. My Great Dane freaks out. Box turtles. That's crazy. Yeah, he probably bark all like you know because it's not. It just goes inside of its shell. I could see that. That would be funny. By yourself. Yeah. We are literally surrounded by steel dealers around that. Yeah, we have a bunch of them, but I mean, they're most of ours are they're like poked into like bigger businesses. So even that steel dealer, it was poked back into a family center, and then we have another one that just like even our Ace Hardwares are starting to sell steel products, but it's usually not the stuff you want. It's the battery powered and the homeowner stuff. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you need a file or something. You can swing in there and get the right file real quick. But yeah, that's usually what is at them smaller places. We had another one just pop into a spot that sells farming equipment. So they were an Echo dealer, but now they're Steel. May have been something happened with Echo or something. I'm not sure. I know that they made like huge investments into their like performance and stuff, like facilities, and it was millions, like millions and millions of dollars they spent. I had it in some article, but yeah, I noticed it's getting harder to like I don't know, Ace Hardware. One of the Ace Hardwares I go to has Steel, one of them has Echo. So I don't, maybe it just changes in different places. Pro Sols and all of them. That would be so cool. Yeah, because it's like I'm telling you, when I go to some of these and I tell the guy who's in the steel department that like no, like I'm looking for a Pro Sol, they act like they don't know what I'm talking about, and I literally have to like tell them, well, here it has these lines. Like, you shouldn't have to tell them that. They should know. Like, he's like, do they look any different? No, and I don't care about what it looks like. It's gonna be orange and white and with some black on it. I'm sure. I want it to perform. So we have troubles. You know, you could go to any of the shops, and I guarantee you walk in there, you'll find a 193 or a 194. But 90% of the time, you're not going to find a 201. and you're definitely not going to find a 150. So there's a maybe next time I'll do a live one of these times when I go up to the dealership that I go to, and maybe I'll just do a live and we'll walk around in there and check stuff out because they sell very little climbing stuff anymore. They used to have a lot more. Now not so much, but they have like certain sections. There's a steel section, and then I don't know. There's so many different little spots in there. There's a spot for like all the hand saws and stuff, and yeah, maybe I'll do a live feed, like give a heads up beforehand one day, and do that too. Or I can just record the video of the place and then edit it and put a video out for you guys. I can do that. Northern Toll carries the pro grade stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. See, we have a Northern Toll here too. Um, actually, that's where I think that's where I bought my last pair of boots was from there, my Carolinas, and I don't know if someone was what kind of boots someone was talking about, but I did get. I was talking about I had a new pair. If it was West Coast, I had a pair of West Coast that Greg sent me, but like they were too like just like a half size too small. I couldn't wear them. Like I could get my feet in them, and I would go to walk around. And all of a sudden, it would just like before I knew it, my toes hurt so bad. It's like dang it. So I ended up. There was this young kid that worked for me, and before he decided to be a fucking druggie and run off, I gave them to him with Greg's, consent. But yeah, I have a set of Georges, and they have a like this neat little hard plastic back on it. So like where your chainsaw is always hitting you. So it's got that hard plastic back there, and then it's like a spot so you can like kick your shoe off and stuff. And it's nice where you put your strap around the back of your foot on that heel, like it's a stiffer spot there. So they're pretty nice. But yeah, the first day I had them, I was using my saw. It was pretty dull, and I tried to use it to like use the tip to cut like a sucker, and I had my foot too close. It bumped my shoe. I thought I cut myself. Yeah. I believe I had two hands too when it happened. So can't put it on the one hand though. I purchased $2,000 worth of supplies. He was going out of business. My crew and I. That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to be. It's better to have and not need as to need and not have. So you're thinking ahead of potentially, well, eventually, not potentially, eventually, it'll all get used. Jared, I knew what you were talking about. I thought it was a troll place at first. So, which chain do you like better, steel or Oregon? Well, I don't. You know what? I've been told that Oregon makes steel chains. So I'm not totally for sure, but I did hear that. But it could have been wrong. I mean, I'm sure that everything I hear isn't fact. Um, but my thing with chains, I'm a person that I'm not a when it's dull get a new chain guy. I'm a use it all the way down. Like my OCD goes to the extent of using something to its full potential. That's like one of my pet peeve things. So like like these shrubs and all these plants and stuff. A lot of this was junk that other people was throwing away that I thought, no, no, hang on. Like I just planted a bunch of pampas grass all out through here. That was all like stuff found at the landfill, and eventually it'll have it all covered up. But I I need a chain that can be sharpened. So the metal on the entire chain is a big deal. The hook, um, the guide, that's that's a big deal for me. Like the actual dog on the chain, it some do that weird say if it's that safety chain style. I don't like how Oregon has some of theirs that like it doesn't have a hook. It goes to like a straight line back and it's doubled. Those are real hard to get you know to knock it down to get the tooth to eat again. So I guess if I'm picking steel, this would be my chain. But I think my problem comes in is I'm sure that Oregon have really good chains because I've accidentally stumbled across a few of them where I couldn't get my steel chain. And I got an Oregon, and it was this weird off-brand looking Oregon box that looked so old, but then it just worked amazing. So I don't know. I mean, I think both is probably going to be they're going to be in that same range. You need to make sure the quality of the chain, like you know, is there for what you're doing. So that's the biggest thing. I think both of them are going to be good, but you know me, I'm going to go with the steel product. So given the choice and both being good, and it's down to what's cooler. Uh, the one I have is going to be cooler, right? Oh, and sometimes I joke and I don't laugh. So yeah, don't take me so serious sometimes. It'll make you not like me probably. Rain doesn't really matter. Pro consumer grade is what matters. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely, Jared. I agree. I do like the square grind. I need to get on some of that square grind. I do. Dang. Yeah, I definitely need to get on some of that. Like, because I will purposely file my chains more blunt as opposed to really, really super a sharper point because each chain's got the guide marker on the top of the tooth that tells you what angle you're supposed to sharpen it, and every guy does it. I want to play with that angle a little bit. What could I do? So the sharper you make that angle, seems like the quicker the chain goes dull, and it doesn't to me seem like it eats as good as when I take it and I blunten that angle a little bit. So like make it flatter. So I could totally get where a square grind has its perks. Definitely do that, man. Older stuff and it should be. I need to replace my computer. I'm getting tired of typing on my phone. I feel you. Sometimes I just have to step away from the phone. It just like feel like my eyes are gonna burn out of my face. Have a great night, buddy. I'm out. Stay safe, everyone. Hey, Ground Pounder, it was awesome having you here, man. Thanks for always being here. Have a good night. I think the Oregon brand because they're in most of our major big box stores that you end up with consumer grade chains more often than you find the yes, and that's what I think. I think that's what I'm running into because I will get in those back country areas where they have an Oregon chain, and I'm like, get it, and it's you pull it out when I look at the chain. that guide, the dog, like, it means a lot to me. Because it determines how much of that tooth is going to work. So, yeah. Yeah, I think you're 100% right, Jared. And when I say Jared, I mean me. So if you guys are like, Mike, what do you can't read? I can't read, but I'm I'm right still. Aaron S. Have you used Steel's nude Hexa chain? Hmm. No, I have not. What's up with it? What is it? Well, like, are they here in U.S. yet? You're right about that. They're supposed to be here sometime this month. You know how that's been. I used to really keep up with like what was going on news wise and like the tree industry and stuff, but I can't no more. Like, I don't know. It's just tough. I try. So if I'm being honest, I haven't even heard of these chains. You're about to teach me something. So they're here. I seen Mike Morgan with one. Hmm. Dinner time. Gotta run. Clint, thanks for hanging out, man. Enjoy your dinner, and catch you next time. Stay safe. I'm Jared. Yeah, this guy. Yep, yep, that guy. That's who I'm talking about. It's a square ground hybrid, sort of cross between round and square. I could see that's where I'm saying, blunting and like taking a little bit of that off, and then I feel like when I knock my dogs down or the guides down, I feel like I get it more precise because like if you're trying to like knock the on a sharp point and you put the guide, thing there, it's I don't feel like you're getting it right. You're working off that tip that you made that's very sharp. So when you blunt it, you're actually getting it exactly at the angle almost of the tooth. So it would make absolute sense. You have to get special files to sharpen it. Right on. Yeah, it's like them little triangle looking files, I think. Or no, it's those flat ones. It almost looks like a flat file, but it's like rounded on the outer edge. Is that it? I watched a lot of square ground videos because there was a point where I was gonna like get into it, and that's when I was blunting and like really, I went almost flat one time just to see what it would be like, and there's a point where it's not good. So don't do it. It's not worth it. It uses a special hexagon shaped file to sharpen. Cool. Ground in a hex pattern. Wow. I used that Carlton metal plate for the rakers today. Did a test cut and it went well. Cool. Cool. Yeah, having a good uh, you know, breaker system is a must. The little long skinny flat ones that are like, you know, U-shaped almost. Um, those are pretty nice because they're big and bulky, and but that thing works so perfect to clean your bars out and stuff too. So it has multiple purposes. Guys, I think I'm gonna head out of here. Um, oh, you know what? I have a video where I want to get into more of a detail on. I'll catch up on the comments just a second. From the one that you just seen, I have like an offshoot video that I was thinking about doing of that. That's like all about like the retrieval of the rings, um, and like transferring. like how and what I use and do during that process. So I'm thinking about maybe putting that video out, and then we got the one that's like, maybe we'll go to the one that was broken on at the garage and do that one. But yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, because I need to like get finish that up and I could just delete all that stuff. So I'll probably go to that. I was gonna say, what video do you guys want to do? And because I really liked you guys being able to just pick what the video was, and it may not have anything to do with that, but it ended up doing better on views than most of them. So I don't know if it was the simple-minded title that I put on it or what, but let me catch up on comments, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here and go enjoy the rest of the night with the wife, dinner and stuff like that. It's triangular, like with two sides for the cutting and one side. Oh, really? They're hexagon. No, completely different than square files. Okay. Hi everyone, I just got home. Oh, dang it, Steve. My steel dealer. And no, oh man, that's so funny. He comes in, he's like, hang on guys, I was just at the shop, they're not here. That's so awesome. We got the inside track, guys. I mean, he was just there. There's no need to go check it. Right on, Steve, that is so cool. I swear I found my big saw, so I want to try it. That's cool. Steve, what do you think with your square filing? Is it you see an improvement enough to warrant having to learn to sharpen a total different way and buy different chains and all that? Because if you guys say that you see it, then I would take the change. Change the angle helps with chainsaw's mill. Okay, I could see that. Yeah, it's all on the they don't want it ripping and chattering and doing all that stuff. So Joseph, take it easy. Get some rest. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty wet. I went and skated at the park for a few hours right before I did this, and that always is a quick reminder of how old I am. So, in case I forget. That sounds like a great idea for a video. Cool, yeah, because I think some guys would use transferring more often. Um, because there's those times where you need to access a tree that like you can't actually step on. I've had times where I need to get into a tree, but I'm not allowed to be on the property. So I have to access it from a different yard. So the ability to transfer over and trim something sometimes is a must. I've had creeks, water, stuff like that in the way, or they're broken, so you want to transfer over the top of the broken part. Transferring becomes very, very good technique to have. So I figured maybe I could show a little more on it. So, Greg, see you, buddy. Right on, Aaron. Did you see this change? I'll definitely have to try it. Definitely. What is he? Thanks. Let's see. You gotta smack me around a little bit, Bill. Remind me that hey, I'm doing it. It makes me feel better too. Cool, Dan. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do that then. That'll be the next one. I'm gonna work on it. I'll get on it. Maybe I'll try to get it out a little sooner than because I'm gonna stick to a video a week at a minimum. Once a week, a new video. So I'd like to put a little more than that sometimes, but at least that, and then a live feed each week. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I used the normal chain. I just spent the time to do file, watch the logger, and send the videos. And yeah, it's fast and smooth. That's awesome, Steve. Are you in hardwoods or softwoods though? Because things that work great for like bucking and stuff like that don't work so good here, like on our crazy hard stuff like pig nut, hickory, and shit like that. See you, Jared. Yeah, hell yeah, Bill. I want one of them. That'd be tight, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Um, cool, Dan. For whoever that was, this is a good read. If you ever get bored, sometimes you'll see it at your steel dealership. That I think I've seen them there, but I think my sister-in-law ordered this off the internet for me. So, guys, have a safe night. Have a safe work week. Be expecting the video by the latest Friday. I sound like postal service. I need a whole week. Um, but maybe soon. So I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out and stay safe.